This is First News on News Radio 1290 WNBF Binghamton and WNBF.com.
Where news breaks first. News Radio 1290 WNBF. Here's Bob Joseph.
Good morning. National Weather Service says it'll be partly sunny today with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms developing this afternoon. The high 84. Get set for a big warm-up starting tomorrow with the temperature hitting 90 and then even warmer temperatures late in the week. Warm and humid conditions are expected from Thursday into Saturday. Heat index values across the Binghamton region will reach the mid to upper 90s with near 100 possible. And some of the urban corridors continue to monitor the changing forecast for the latest information, with at least a mini heat wave in store for the Twin Tiers. Work is underway now to fill a downtown Binghamton site that's been vacant since a fast-moving fire destroyed a building nearly a quarter century ago. A restaurant and tavern is planned for the site at 138 Washington Street. That's between Hawley and Court, just a couple of blocks from City Hall. Former Mayor Richard David announced plans last February for what he says will be a beer garden. David told WNBF News the site preparation began a few days ago. Pritchard Development Corporation is doing the initial work before the building is erected. It's expected to take a couple of weeks to put the prefab structure into place. The pre-engineered one-story building will come from Essex Structural Steel of Cortland. David said he hopes the new business can open within 90 days. The beer garden, which will be called Stadium 138, will have outdoor seating for several dozen people in front of the building. Indoor capacity is expected to be between 50 and 75 people. The former mayor said it's exciting to clean up the vacant site. He declined to reveal the cost of that project. The property has been empty since a fire on the evening of December 31st, 1999. It tore through a building that had housed the Royal Lounge and an adult bookstore. David acquired the property for $50,000 in July 2009 before he became Binghamton mayor. The deputy superintendent of a New York State prison faces a felony charge following a reported road rage incident. Authorities say 40-year-old Gregory Stokowski of Big Flats was arrested after he allegedly stole the cell phone during a confrontation. Stokowski is the deputy superintendent of Auburn Correctional Facility. State police received a complaint of the road rage incident in the area of Interstate 86 and Route 13 in the town of Horseheads on Friday morning. Stokowski was charged with grand larceny and official misconduct. He was ordered to appear in Horseheads Town Court on August 1st. State police provided no details about the reported road rage case. Demolition crews have removed a building near the entrance of the Greater Binghamton Airport as part of a major modernization project. Broome County Aviation Commissioner Mark Kiefner said the project to remove the old maintenance building started in early July. Gorick Construction was awarded a $333,000 contract to tear down that structure. Kiefner said the site where the building stood should be cleared this week. He said the demolition work will make way for a planned Customs and Border Protection facility. The commissioner said the new building will be in compliance with federal standards and will make a great first impression for those traveling to the Greater Binghamton Airport internationally. Kiefner said the Customs and Border Protection Unit will be for general aviation and not for commercially scheduled travel. The building is part of the work being made possible by a $32 million state grant that was announced last September. The terminal renovation portion of the revitalization project is in the design and bidding phase. 8 people have been arrested since a criminal investigation unit was created at the Broome County Jail. According to the sheriff's office, 6 felony and 3 misdemeanor charges have been filed as the result of investigations by the unit. The alleged crimes at the town of Dickinson Jail included assaults and the theft of items from the kitchen. Some cases involve the breaking of windows and inmate tablet computers, along with promotion of contraband. Jail Criminal Investigation Unit focuses on crimes within the facility. It consists of a supervisor and 2 full-time investigators. Police have been digging in the yard at the Long Island home of Rex Heuermann, who was charged with killing at least 3 women and burying their remains at a remote stretch of a beach highway. A yellow excavator has been seen scooping dirt in the backyard, and a man could also be seen operating a piece of equipment that can be used to scan for buried objects. Police dismantled a wooden deck at the house. They're expected to be busy at the site for at least a few more days as their investigation continues. Now the forecast from the National Weather Service: partly sunny today with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, high 84. Partly cloudy tonight, low 62. Sunny tomorrow, high 90. Partly sunny Thursday with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 90. And right now in downtown Binghamton, it's 60 at 610. I'm Bob Joseph.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
Good morning. It's First News Binghamton. I'm Bob Joseph. In this morning for Don Morgan. And we are beginning your Tuesday. What will happen? Nobody knows. But how will you find out about it? In large part by listening to WNBF today at 92.1 FM, 1290 AM, and streaming online at WNBF.com. We'll keep you posted with stories happening around your neighborhood and around the world. So if they're big stories, we'll bring them to you as quickly as possible. And not only can you stay posted on air with WNBF News, you can check our website, WNBF.com, for original reporting and some special features. WNBF.com, a great local news source. Coming up this morning here on First News Binghamton, in a moment, a look at Tuesday morning sports. We'll have a preview of some baseball action, including an early start for the Rumble Ponies today. And money news from ABC, followed by some health news. Actually, a serious topic today for Dr. Sanjay Gupta, as he discusses how many high school students in the United States now have witnessed firsthand community violence. It's becoming a bigger issue in many parts of the United States, so he'll discuss that. Also, later this hour, we'll hear from Kim Commando with her Tuesday Tech Update. So plenty of news for you, as well as just general information. We also hear a little bit from the entertainment world with ABC's Jason Nathanson. So we'll keep you posted. It's the first briefing of the new day, July 25th, 2023. Almost ready to look ahead to August. By the way, I'm not sure if the weather in August will be really, really hot. I can tell you later this week things are going to be quite warm, especially on Friday. I have all those details as well. This is First News Binghamton. WNBF News Time, 6:14. WNBF News Time, 6:15. It's time for sports here on WNBF. And all of our favorite baseball teams had the night off. Yep. Including the Yankees and the Mets. They're getting set for a 2-game series at Yankee Stadium starting tonight. And first pitch for that game will be at 7:05. So the Mets will travel from Queens to the Bronx. We'll see how they do. Both teams have had their issues lately. As far as Major League play yesterday, we can tell you the Pirates had a victory. It's nice. Always nice to see the Pirates with a win. Pittsburgh defeated San Diego 8-4. Meanwhile, the Phillies lost a close one to Baltimore 3-4. I stand corrected. It was 3-2, with Baltimore prevailing over Philadelphia. Binghamton Rumble Ponies start a 6-game series today in Reading, Pennsylvania against the Fightin' Phils. It's an early start with the first pitch set for noon and WNBF airtime at 11:50 this morning right here on WNBF with Jacob Wilkins. Sophia Smith flashed the zipping her lips gesture as she celebrated her second goal against Vietnam during the opening United States match at the Women's World Cup in tribute to former Stanford teammate Katie Meyer. The goalkeeper died by suicide last year, so Smith and teammate Naomi Girma came up with the tribute. Meyer led Stanford to the 2019 NCAA title with 2 penalty shots. The United States meets the Netherlands on Thursday in Wellington. As the Women's World Cup moves forward, the game is a rematch of the World Cup final 4 years ago in France, which the Americans won 2-0 for the team's second straight title. Thursday's match is the second for both teams in group play. Both come into the game with a Group E win in hand, so the results are important for positioning in the knockout stage. The Dutch have defeated the Americans only once in 10 matches back in 1991 in their first ever meeting. NFL news. Camps open this week with most of the focus on players who aren't going to bother showing up at all. All-Pro defensive tackle Chris Jones skipped Sunday's first workout with the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs over a contract dispute. Veterans on the Giants and the Raiders are scheduled to report today, but Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs are expected to hold out because they didn't receive long-term deals after getting the franchise tag. That's the latest in sports from News Radio WNBF 618. Coming up, Money News from ABC's Jim Ryan.
WNBF.
620, this is First News Binghamton. Jim Ryan has our first look at Money News on this Tuesday.
11 days. On Monday, the blue chip index rose 183 points to finish at 35,411. The Nasdaq Composite added 0.2%. The S&P 500 tacked on a fraction. The Barbenheimer effect is real and is driving up the stock price of movie theater giant AMC. After the openings of Barbie and Oppenheimer last weekend, AMC stock price climbed 33% in Monday trading to just under $6 a share. Getting underway today, the monthly meeting of the Federal Reserve's Open Market Committee. The panel held interest rates steady last month, but it's expected to boost them for the 11th time since March of 2022 in order to further cool inflation. Trader Joe's is recalling 2 of its branded cookies after a supplier warned of potential rocks in its products. Almond Windmill Cookies and the Dark Chocolate Chunk and Almond Cookies are the affected brands. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Rocks in your cookies. How did that happen? I've heard that story in the last few days about the cookie recall because of possible rocks in those delicious treats. But nobody yet has seen fit to explain how rocks managed to make it in those cookies. You should just shift them over to the Hard Rock Cafe. Use them not necessarily for desserts, but at least as something that people could talk about. Rocks in your cookies. Taking a look at stock futures right now. Dow futures down 27. NASDAQ futures up 44. WNBF News Time 622. Coming up, A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
About 1 in 5 high school students in the United States has witnessed violence firsthand among people who are not related, including homicides involving guns. This is according to a new CDC report, which calls community violence now a significant public health concern. The data also showed that students who saw community violence were also more likely to carry a gun, engage in substance use, and consider or attempt suicide. Even more troubling, the authors of this report said previous research has demonstrated that young people might carry weapons for self-defense to protect against future violence, particularly when they have been directly victimized or perceive high levels of community violence. Guns are now the leading cause of death for children and teens in the United States. As a parent, it's your responsibility to teach your kids about gun safety as well. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new place. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
We bring you A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta every weekday morning right here on News Radio, WNBF, First News Binghamton. Bob Joseph in for Don Morgan this morning. WNBF News Time, 6:25. In a moment, we'll take a look at the weather, and we'll also have entertainment news from ABC's Jason Nathanson.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
6:27 today. Partly sunny. We'll have some showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Right now we have patchy fog, and that could slow you down a little bit. Yep. Visibility is low in some places, but the fog will give away in a bit. We look for a high today of 84. Tomorrow will be sunny with a high of 90. Right now in downtown Binghamton, it's 61 at News Radio. WNBF News Time, 6:28.
ABC Entertainment News.
Okay, ladies, let's do this.
With the final numbers in, Barbie's box office domination even bigger than originally thought, a $162 million opening weekend. It's a figure that must be beyond director and co-writer Greta Gerwig's wildest dreams, because in an interview before the start of the SAG-AFTRA strike, she told us they were putting the film's pieces together during the height of the pandemic.
We sort of thought, like, who knows if people are going to go back to the movie theaters. But I thought, well, if they do, let's make the biggest, craziest, wildest ride.
Gerwig now holds the record for the highest-grossing opening weekend for a film directed by a woman. Jim Gaffigan is the latest comedian with a new streaming comedy special.
Every dad on vacation looks like he lost a bet.
Dark Pale, it's Prime Video today. And How You Doing? Friends star Matt LeBlanc is 56 today.
It's Moo.
Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
All right, happy birthday to everyone who is celebrating on this July 25th. Coming up, a news update, live and local on your Tuesday morning on News Radio. WNBF News Time, 6:29.
WNBF Binghamton.
Where news breaks first. News Radio 1290 WNBF. Here's Bob Joseph.
Good morning. It's 61 in downtown Binghamton. It's 6:30. The forecast from News Radio 1290. Some dense fog right now in parts of the Twin Tiers. That patchy fog should be gone by 9 o'clock. Today, otherwise, will be partly sunny. Slight chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. The high 84. Big warm-up on the way. Tomorrow and Thursday, the highs are expected to hit 90, and temperatures could be in the low to mid-90s Friday across the Twin Tiers. So be prepared for warm and humid conditions as the week moves forward. Air quality index right now is good. It's 46 in Binghamton. In southern Oregon, officials say a fast-moving wildfire north of Klamath Falls has destroyed 43 homes and 43 outbuildings. That fire, burning north of the city of Bonanza, started Saturday and quickly scorched through more than 2,000 acres, fueled by dry, hot conditions and gusty winds. The Oregon State Fire Marshal says most of the structures were destroyed on the first day. Jennifer Case is a spokeswoman for the Oregon Department of Forestry. She said about 450 firefighters are now battling that massive blaze.
The day crew is constructing fire line and strengthening those lines. Currently, what we're lacking right now is just resources for water. So holding those lines has found to be difficult with the winds that have come in.
The U.S. Department of Justice is suing Texas after Republican Governor Greg Abbott defiantly ignored a deadline to remove razor-wrapped buoys in the Rio Grande installed to deter migrants from Mexico. ABC's Maria Villarreal is on the southern border with more.
We did have a very defiant governor of Texas basically saying that he was going to keep his buoys in the Rio Grande River and that as a sovereign state that he had every right to protect the border of Texas. And that is exactly what he was going to continue to do. In fact, in the letter that he sent to President Biden, he basically said, "We will see you in court, President Biden."
WNBF News Time, 6:33. Top official of a New York State prison is in trouble. He faces a felony charge after a reported road rage case. Authorities say the man who is charged is the number 2 guy at the Auburn Correctional Facility. 40-year-old Gregory Stukowski of Big Flats was arrested after he allegedly stole a cell phone during a confrontation with another driver. State police received a complaint of the road rage incident in the area of I-86 and Route 13 in the town of Horseheads Friday morning. Stukowski's been charged with grand larceny and official misconduct. He was told to appear in Horseheads Town Court August 1st. State police will provide no additional information about exactly what happened. 8 people have been arrested since a criminal investigation unit was formed at the Broome County Jail. According to the sheriff's office, 6 felony and 3 misdemeanor charges have been filed as the result of investigations by the unit in recent weeks. Demolition crews have removed a building near the entrance of the Greater Binghamton Airport, part of a major modernization project. Broome County Aviation Chief Mark Kiefner told WNBF News the project to remove the old maintenance building started early this month. Gorey Construction was awarded a $333,000 contract to tear down the structure. We have some more information along some pictures and video of that work being wrapped up now on our website, WNBF.com. Also on the website, video of work getting underway to fill a downtown Binghamton site that's been vacant since a fast-moving fire destroyed a building 23 years ago. A restaurant and tavern is planned for that site at 138 Washington Street. It's located not far from City Hall, a couple of blocks away. Between Hawley and Court, former Mayor Richard David announced plans last February for what he says will be a beer garden. He says he hopes the place, which will be known as Stadium 138, can be open within 90 days. Now the forecast from the National Weather Service. Patchy dense fog around the Twin Tiers this morning. Otherwise, partly sunny today with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. High 84. Partly cloudy tonight, low 62. Sunny tomorrow, high 90. And partly sunny Thursday with a chance of showers and thunderstorms. The high 90. Right now, 61 in downtown Binghamton at 6:35. I'm Bob Joseph, WNBF News.
WNBF.
6:38 at News Radio, WNBF and WNBF.com. I'm Bob Joseph in this morning for Don Morgan. Remember, you can hear us, of course, on the air. People listen at 92.1 FM. Some people listen at 1290 AM. But if you don't want to listen on your radio, you always can listen on your phone. WNBF.com, or even more conveniently, the WNBF app, which is free. And we encourage you to download the app so you can enjoy WNBF virtually anywhere you go. If you go to a place without internet access, that's a problem. As soon as they have universal internet access everywhere on the planet, then you probably will be able to hear WNBF virtually anywhere on the planet. In the meantime, well, you know, they're doing the best they can, and we're glad that you can stay connected with us almost anywhere these days using the app. We're online at WNBF.com, or if you're right here in the Binghamton area, over the air. 6:39 coming up. We have another look at sports on this Tuesday morning. We'll also have money news, and then Kim Commando in, say, approximately 14 minutes. She says a funny thing happened at Netflix. Wait till you hear the Kim Commando tech report about what happened at Netflix. It is funny. This is WNBF, First News Binghamton.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
6:42 on a Tuesday morning here at WNBF. Wildfires are a problem not only in Canada and parts of the United States right now, but also in Algeria. And wildfires there have been deadly. The Algerian government said the wildfires raging across that country have killed 25 people and injured 50. The defense ministry said that includes 10 soldiers who were killed while trying to get the flames under control in the face of high winds and scorching summer temperatures. The Interior Ministry said at least 1,500 people were evacuated. Wildfires, some spread by strong winds, moved across forest and agricultural areas in many regions of Algeria. That caused 97 blazes in the North African country. The largest and deadliest fires ravaged parts of the Kabyle region east of Algiers. It wasn't clear over what period of time the casualties actually happened, but the fires have been burning for several days. And you've seen the images, not just from Canada, also in parts of the United States, but a lot of the fires in Greece, strong winds and the ongoing heat waves have been fueling vicious fires in Greece and elsewhere around the Mediterranean this summer. So fires continuing to be a tremendous challenge around the world. 6:43 at WNBF. Coming up in a moment, a look at sports on First News Binghamton. WNBF News Time, 6:45. It's time for sports on First News Binghamton. Rumble Ponies were off Monday. They'll be back in action in just a few hours. In fact, their game in Reading is set to begin in 5 hours and 15 minutes. Yes, first pitch scheduled for noon as the Rumble Ponies take on the Fightin' Phils. That's a scheduled 6-game series. WNBF coverage will begin at 11:50 this morning with Jacob Wilkins. So tune in for that. Coming up in 5 hours and 4 minutes. That's when our coverage will commence. Also in sports, the Yankees will be hosting the Mets. It's a mini Subway Series, a couple of games that'll be held in the Bronx. The first one is tonight, with the first pitch scheduled for 7:05. We'll see how those teams do. Lately, as far as I'm concerned, the teams just haven't been that exciting, but who knows? Things could change. It is late July, though. You get a sense that if things were going to change, they would have changed by now. Well, it was a limited schedule in Major League Baseball last night. There was a game involving the Pirates.
And pitch. Swinging a high fly ball. Deep right field. Tatis to the wall. There it goes. Home run. Carlos Santana. A 2-strike, 2-run home run. And the Pirates enjoying their first lead of the night. It's 3-1.
All right, that was the call on KDKA in Pittsburgh as Carlos Santana hit a home run to right center field, scoring Andrew McCutchen in the top of the third inning. Pirates ultimately beat the Padres 8-4. An interleague game saw Baltimore defeat Philadelphia 3-2. And elsewhere in the world of sports, rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud of the Houston Texans and Anthony Richardson of the Indianapolis Colts have both agreed to fully guaranteed 4-year contracts. Stroud's $36 million deal has been confirmed by someone who wanted to remain anonymous, who spoke with the Associated Press. Deal has not yet been publicly announced. Richardson, the 4th overall pick in the NFL draft, agreed to a $34 million contract. Both are expected to compete for starting jobs and eventually turn their struggling franchises around. Elsewhere in the NFL, the league has indefinitely suspended Denver Broncos defensive lineman Ioma Uwazurki for betting on league games during the 2022 season. He's a 4th-round draft pick from Iowa State. Back in 2022, he becomes the 10th player this offseason to be suspended for gambling on games or in NFL locker rooms. Rizeki will be eligible to petition for reinstatement no earlier than July 24th, 2024. NFL players and personnel are not supposed to be gambling while in NFL facilities. They're also not supposed to disclose any non-public NFL information, enter a sports book during the NFL season, or maintain relationships with sports gamblers. But, of course, gamblers will be gamblers, and they'll do what gamblers do. It's 6:49 at News Radio WNBF. Coming up, we'll have some money news. No more news this hour about gambling. Also coming up in about 5 minutes, Kim Commando with her tech report.
WNBF.
6:52 at WNBF and WNBF.com. And it's time for money news. The IRS says it's ending its decades-old policy of making unannounced home and business visits in an effort to keep its workers safe and also deal with scammers who pose as IRS agents. Effective immediately, the change follows a number of other actions the agency has taken to improve worker safety. The agency in recent years has experienced more threats. In part, those were tied to conspiracy theories that agents were going to target middle-income taxpayers more aggressively after the passage of a climate, health care, and tax bill that provided $80 billion to step up tax collections. When Chair Jerome Powell and other Federal Reserve officials gather this week for their latest decision on interest rates, they will do so on the cusp of achieving an elusive soft landing, the feat of curbing inflation without causing a deep recession. After the Fed began aggressively raising borrowing costs early last year, most economists predicted it would end the economy, or rather would send the economy crashing. Yet even though the Fed is poised to raise its key rate tomorrow for the 11th time since March 2022, no one seems to be panicking. Economists and financial traders have grown more optimistic that what some call immaculate disinflation, a steady easing of inflationary pressures without an economic downturn, can actually be achieved. Global stock markets and Wall Street futures are mixed after China's ruling Communist Party promised to shore up its sagging economy ahead of a Federal Reserve meeting. London and Shanghai advanced while Tokyo and Paris retreated. Oil prices edged lower. Right now, Wall Street futures indeed are mixed. Dow futures at the moment are down. Actually, no, they just shifted. Now they're up 12 points. They had been down 27 points about half an hour ago. Dow futures now up 12 points, and NASDAQ futures up 36. That's the latest money news on News Radio, WNBF, and WNBF.com. 6:54, time for a tech update.
A funny thing happened at Netflix. First, it angered millions by cutting off friends and relatives who were using your account but not living with you. Some canceled, but then things changed. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by T-Mobile. Their advanced network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55 today. The people Netflix cut off apparently realized that spending $10 to $15 a month for Netflix wasn't so bad after all. And suddenly, those canceled accounts turn into new accounts, millions. And they just keep coming and coming. 5.9 million as of today. So let's do the math. Each account generates at least $10 a month. At 5.9 million, that comes to 59 million new dollars every single month. That's more than $750 million a year in new revenue. And it proves, regardless of all the belt tightening and talk of recession, Netflix is the one streaming service Americans just can't seem to live without. Get TechSmart every single day and join over 400,000 people who get my free newsletter at getkim.com. We've all picked up the call and heard. We're calling to let you know that your car's warranty expired. For those who don't know, these calls are often used to steal your personal information. And sorry to burst your bubble, but that includes the ones saying you've been selected as a winner of a free cruise. So how do you stop them? With RoboKiller, of course. RoboKiller harnesses the power of artificial intelligence to block up to 99% of unwanted calls, including robocalls and scammers. Did you know that the average phone scam victim loses $1,500? This is serious business. And with RoboKiller, spammers can't just change their number to reach you. RoboKiller examines the audio of each call to identify threats. And with customized call blocking, you only get the calls you want. See why millions rely on RoboKiller. Download the app from the iOS or Google App Store and get 20% off with promo code KIM20. That's code KIM20 for 20% off at RoboKiller. Download the app on the iOS or Google App Store today.
And of course, you can hear Kim Commando with her tech updates every weekday morning right here on News Radio, WNBF, and WNBF.com. Next hour, we'll have Tech Trends from ABC with Mike Dabusky. What is going on with Twitter? What is Elon Musk actually doing with the social media platform? That'll be coming up right here at News Radio, WNBF, and WNBF.com. Check out the website, yes, WNBF.com, with a lot of local reporting, including some interesting images from a downtown construction scene. You can see the work getting underway for a beer garden on Washington Street. We've got pictures as well as some video. It's in the early stages, but before long, that new business should be open probably in the next 2 or 3 months. That's the plan. So more details on that on the website, WNBF.com. WNBF News Time, 6:58.
This is News Radio 1290 AM, WNBF Binghamton. Now on 92.1 FM, W221 EJ Binghamton, a Town Square Media.
Where news breaks first. News Radio 1290, WNBF. Here's Bob Joseph.
Good morning. National Weather Service says it'll be partly sunny today with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms developing this afternoon. The high 84. Get set for a big warm-up starting tomorrow with the temperature hitting 90. And then even warmer temperatures late in the week. Warm and humid conditions are expected From Thursday into Saturday, heat index values across the Binghamton region will reach the mid to upper 90s, with near 100 possible. And some of the urban corridors continue to monitor the changing forecast for the latest information, with at least a mini heat wave in store for the Twin Tiers. Work is underway now to fill a downtown Binghamton site that's been vacant since a fast-moving fire destroyed a building nearly a quarter century ago. A restaurant and tavern is planned for the site at 138 Washington Street. That's between Hawley and Court, just a couple of blocks from City Hall. Former Mayor Richard David announced plans last February for what he says will be a beer garden. David told WNBF News the site preparation began a few days ago. Pritchard Development Corporation is doing the initial work before the building is erected. It's expected to take a couple of weeks to put the prefab structure into place. The pre-engineered one-story building will come from Essex Structural Steel of Cortland. David said he hopes the new business can open within 90 days. The beer garden, which will be called Stadium 138, will have outdoor seating for several dozen people in front of the building. Indoor capacity is expected to be between 50 and 75 people. The former mayor said it's exciting to clean up the vacant site. He declined to reveal the cost of that project. The property has been empty since a fire on the evening of December 31st, 1999. It tore through a building that had housed the Royal Lounge and an adult bookstore. David acquired the property for $50,000 in July 2009 before he became Binghamton mayor. The deputy superintendent of a New York State prison faces a felony charge following a reported road rage incident. Authorities say 40-year-old Gregory Stokowski of Big Flats was arrested after he allegedly stole the cell phone during a confrontation. Stokowski is the deputy superintendent of Auburn Correctional Facility. State police received a complaint of the road rage incident in the area of Interstate 86 and Route 13 in the town of Horseheads on Friday morning. Stokowski was charged with grand larceny and official misconduct. He was ordered to appear in Horseheads Town Court on August 1st. State police provided no details about the reported road rage case. Demolition crews have removed a building near the entrance of the Greater Binghamton Airport as part of a major modernization project. Broome County Aviation Commissioner Mark Kiefner said the project to remove the old maintenance building started in early July. Gorick Construction was awarded a $333,000 contract to tear down that structure. Kiefner said the site where the building stood should be cleared this week. He said the demolition work will make way for a planned Customs and Border Protection facility. The commissioner said the new building will be in compliance with federal standards and will make a great first impression for those traveling to the Greater Binghamton Airport internationally. Kiefner said the Customs and Border Protection Unit will be for general aviation and not for commercially scheduled travel. The building is part of the work being made possible by a $32 million state grant that was announced last September. The terminal renovation portion of the revitalization project is in the design and bidding phase. 8 people have been arrested since a criminal investigation unit was created at the Broome County Jail. According to the sheriff's office, 6 felony and 3 misdemeanor charges have been filed as the result of investigations by the unit. The alleged crimes at the town of Dickinson Jail included assaults and the theft of items from the kitchen. Some cases involve the breaking of windows and inmate tablet computers, along with promotion of contraband. The jail criminal investigation unit focuses on crimes within the facility. It consists of a supervisor and 2 full-time investigators. Police have been digging in the yard at the Long Island home of Rex Heuermann, who was charged with killing at least 3 women and burying their remains at a remote stretch of a beach highway. A yellow excavator has been seen scooping dirt in the backyard. And a man could also be seen operating a piece of equipment that can be used to scan for buried objects. Police dismantled a wooden deck at the house. They're expected to be busy at the site for at least a few more days as their investigation continues. Now the forecast from the National Weather Service, partly sunny today with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, high 84. Partly cloudy tonight, low 62. Sunny tomorrow, high 90. Partly sunny Thursday with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 90. Right now, I'm Bob Joseph, WNBF News. It's 60 and foggy in downtown Binghamton. The air quality index right now is 49. Actually, it's 46. And we expect the air quality index to go up to 60 today, which is moderate, which could be a little bit of a problem for people who are unusually sensitive. But again, at the moment, no major problems in terms of air quality. WNBF News Time, 7:10.
WNBF.
7:12 on a Tuesday morning. You're listening to First News Binghamton with the information you need. Some dense fog right now around the Twin Tiers. That should be gone in probably a couple of hours or so, maybe less. So if you're driving, give yourself a little extra time because of reduced visibility. Otherwise, today looks fairly decent. No major problems anticipated. Tomorrow, the warm-up begins with highs of 90 tomorrow and Thursday, and then things get quite toasty on Friday with potential highs of 93, maybe even 95, and the temperature could feel like 100 in some places because of the heat and humidity. So that's something to brace yourself for. Toward the end of the week, things start to moderate for the weekend with Saturday's high about 85. And Sunday, at the moment, Sunday, to me, looks like a perfect summer day with sunny skies and 79. WNBF News Time, 7:13. WNBF News Time, 7:15.
He'll want to Kowser. He'll line it down the left field line, slicing away from Schwarber. Will he get there? Dives! It's a fair ball. He can't get to the ball. And Karem's behind him. Around second goes Kowser. He's going to pump the brakes there, and the Orioles take a 3-2 lead on the double by Colton Kowser as Waterworks go flying as the sprinkler comes from Kowser. Schwarber dove. He was close to it and left, but he missed it, and the Orioles, as soon as they lost the lead, they have got it back.
There you go. That was the call on WBAL. Colton Kowser hit a double to left field, scoring Gunnar Henderson in the top of the ninth inning. And the Orioles beat the Phillies 3-2 in an interleague matchup. National League contest last night. Pirates over San Diego 8-4. Mets and the Yankees were idle. And they will face each other tonight in a mini Subway Series. A couple of games planned in the Bronx. And the first pitch tonight at Yankee Stadium, 7:05. Rumble Ponies swing back into action today. They'll be playing an early start with the first pitch at noon today, taking on the Fightin' Phils in Reading. And WNBF coverage will begin at 11:50 this morning with Jacob Wilkins on News Radio WNBF, WNBF.com. Casey Fair has become the youngest player in soccer World Cup history at the age of 16 years and 26 days. Fair went on as a replacement in South Korea's 2-0 loss to Colombia in Sydney at the Women's World Cup. Earlier today, Fair has an American father and a South Korean mother and was raised in the United States. She says it was a scary moment, but then going on and running around, I think it just settled in. The record was previously held by the late Ifeanyi Cheching, who was 16 years and 34 days when she played for Nigeria in the 1999 Women's World Cup. And that is the latest in sports from News Radio. WNBF News Time, 7:18. Coming up, we'll get a money report from ABC's Jim Ryan. You're listening to First News Binghamton on News Radio, WNBF 92.1 FM, 1290 AM, streaming at WNBF.com.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
Good morning, I'm Bob Joseph. In for Don Morgan on First News Binghamton on your Tuesday. Let's get a money news update from ABC's Jim Ryan.
The Dow Jones rally has hit 11 days. On Monday, the blue chip index rose 183 points to finish at 35,411. The Nasdaq Composite added 0.2%. The S&P 500 tacked on a fraction. The Barbenheimer effect is real and is driving up the stock price of movie theater giant AMC. After the openings of Barbie and Oppenheimer last weekend, AMC stock price climbed 33% in Monday trading to just under $6 a share. Getting underway today, the monthly meeting of the Federal Reserve's Open Market Committee. The panel held interest rates steady last month, but it's expected to boost them for the 11th time since March of 2022 in order to further cool inflation. Trader Joe's is recalling 2 of its branded cookies after a supplier warned of potential rocks in its products. Almond Windmill cookies and the dark chocolate chunk and almond cookies are the affected brands. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
And Wall Street futures right now are up. Dow futures are up 26. NASDAQ futures are up 51. It's 7:21 at WNBF. Following has been paid for by KSO Insurance Solutions. Karen Sweet O'Neill joins us now with a preview of tomorrow's big information segment.
Well, that's a pretty big lead in there, Bob.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Hope I can live up
could
to it.
get a voiceover job for one of those movie companies. The big movie coming this fall. The big movie.
Speaking of the big movie, Gary told me he went to the Oppenheimer yesterday, and he said it was really good.
It's amazing. I saw it. I did see it Friday night, and many reviewers have called it a masterpiece, and I agree. It's a 3-hour-long presentation. In some cases tough to watch, but it's a fascinating story, and it touches on so many emotions, and even now, even days later, I'm still trying to sort things out. But I was intrigued. I knew I would find it fascinating, and it definitely exceeded my expectations. The only thing that I wish that I was able to do on Friday night was see it in an IMAX theater, because it was shot in IMAX using special IMAX cameras, and unfortunately it's only playing in 19 theaters in the United States. Only 19 IMAX theaters are showing Oppenheimer.
Why is that?
I'm not really sure why the release is so limited. Something to do with the prints. The IMAX prints are very long and expensive, and the only place you could see it in New York State is down at Lincoln Square in New York City. You can't even see it at the IMAX Theater in Syracuse. So
I was wondering. I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that
if it was playing in Syracuse, I might have considered driving up there. In fact, maybe at some point, maybe it'll show at the IMAX Theater in Syracuse. Again, the number of prints is limited, and it's amazing. One thing I am fascinated by, I'm looking at the list of theaters across the country where it's available as an IMAX production. There are 7 in California. 7 in California. But most states have none. Texas has a couple, and Pennsylvania has one, King of Prussia. The only one in New York State is down in Manhattan at Lincoln Square. So maybe at some point I'll keep an eye open. If it winds up playing at the IMAX Theater in Syracuse, I'll probably take a ride up, because I would love to see it in the IMAX format.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
that's
anyway.
interesting information.
Yes. So, speaking of interesting information, what can we expect when you join us tomorrow morning?
Well, we're going to talk about a not-so-fun topic, but very important. As many people know that have existing long-term care insurance policies, Bob, they're starting, and they have been in the last couple of years, to see rate increases from these companies. And a rate increase that is going to happen for the next 4 years has just been mailed out in the last couple of weeks to people that own MedAmerica long-term care policies. And it used to be Blue Cross Blue Shield. That's how far back it went. So we're going to talk a little bit about what their options are, because it's a little, the information's a little scarce in the letter. So I want people to know how they can figure out what their options are. And, of course, they can always come see us, and we do that, so that they know everything that they can do to maybe lessen the blow as far as the rate increases go for the next 4 years. And in addition to that, Bob, we'll be talking about what do you do now if you're looking to protect your assets and your portfolio, and you don't want a straight long-term care policy because there are no rate guarantees. So we also will talk about hybrid products and how that can definitely fit into your financial portfolio, and how it's your best bet going forward to protect all of your assets. We are at 1708 Vestal Parkway East, up above Plato's Closet and Style Encore. You can reach us several ways for an appointment. You can simply call us at 607-772-4898, or you can Google us at KSO Insurance, and all our contact information will come up, or simply go to a phone book. We have a big display ad under insurance in the yellow pages.
Karen Sweet O'Neill, we will talk to you tomorrow right around 7:20 here on WNBF.
Very good. Have a good day, Bob.
Thank you. 7:27. It is Tuesday morning. Thank you for joining us for your first news of the day. Hopefully, it's a regular habit. If you're joining us for the first time, we provide this to you Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m. First News, Binghamton. It's your local, regional, national, and world news. Some money news, sports news, entertainment news, health updates, and even a few features that don't fall under those headings. It's all for you right here on WNBF 92.1 FM, 1290 AM, and stay connected with us using the WNBF app.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
7:28 hours after a Swedish court fined Greta Thunberg for disobeying police during an environmental protest at an oil facility, the climate activist once again tried to block access to the facility and was removed by police. The 20-year-old Thunberg admitted to the facts but denied guilt, saying the fight against the fossil fuel industry was a form of self-defense due to the existential and global threats of the climate crisis. WNBF News Time, 7:29.
WNBF Binghamton.
Where news breaks first. News Radio 1290 WNBF. Here's Bob Joseph.
Good morning. It's 62 in downtown Binghamton. It's 7:30. The forecast from News Radio WNBF. Some patchy fog around the Twin Tiers for another hour or so. Otherwise, partly sunny today with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. High 84. Almost a half century after a young child was killed in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, an arrest has been made.
Accused of the 1975 death of 8-year-old Gretchen Harrington, an 83-year-old retired minister, a friend of Harrington's family. Delaware County PA District Attorney Jack Stolzheimer.
David Vantra is, ladies and gentlemen, a monster.
He is every parent's worst nightmare.
He says the girl was on her way to Bible camp when Zanstra picked her up, drove to a secluded area, performed a sex act in front of her, and then killed her. Another alleged victim of Zanstra's recently came forward, says the DA. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
A group of lawmakers taking a swing at passing legislation that's evaded Congress for decades. Immigration reform. Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez of Texas has reintroduced legislation. The bill, if passed by Congress, would create federal work visas for migrants seeking to enter the United States. It has bipartisan support from more than a dozen members of Congress. Speaking to ABC News, Gonzalez said voters are fed up with the chaos at the border.
I think America is tired of it's everybody's fault but their own, whether it's the White House blaming the states or whether it's the states blaming the White House. Round and round we go with no solutions.
WNBF News Time, 7:32. The deputy superintendent of a New York State prison faces a felony charge after a reported road rage incident. 40-year-old Gregory Stokowski is the number 2 man at the Auburn Correctional Facility. Now he faces charges after being arrested by state police who say he's accused of stealing a cell phone of someone during a confrontation. State police received the complaint of a road rage matter in the area of Interstate 86 and Route 13 in the town of Horseheads on Friday morning. Stokowski was charged with grand larceny and official misconduct. He's been ordered to appear in Horseheads Town Court on August 1st. State police won't release any more details about that reported road rage case. In Broome County, 8 people have been arrested since a criminal investigation unit was created at the jail in the town of Dickinson. According to the sheriff's office, 6 felony and 3 misdemeanor charges have been filed as the result of investigations by the unit. The alleged crimes at the jail included assaults and the theft of items from the kitchen. Some cases involved the breaking of windows and inmate tablet computers, along with promotion of contraband. The jail criminal investigation unit focuses on crimes that occur within the facility. WNBF News Time, 7:33. Demolition crews have removed a building near the entrance of the Greater Binghamton Airport, part of a major modernization project. County Aviation Commissioner Mark Kiefner said the project to remove the old maintenance building began a few weeks ago. Gorick Construction of Binghamton was awarded a $333,000 contract to tear down that structure. Kiefner said the site where the building stood should be cleared this week. He said the demolition work will make way for a planned Customs and Border Protection facility. Commissioner told WNBF News the new building will be in compliance with federal standards, and he says it'll make a great first impression for those traveling to the Greater Binghamton Airport internationally. He said the Customs and Border Protection Unit is for general aviation and not for commercially scheduled travel. In downtown Binghamton, work is now underway to fill a site that's been vacant for almost a quarter century. A restaurant and tavern is planned for the site at 138 Washington Street. Former Mayor Richard David announced the plans last February for what he says will be a beer garden. David said the site prep began a week ago. Pritchard Development Corporation is doing the initial work. Then a pre-engineered one-story building will be put into place. That's coming from Essex Structural Steel of Cortland. David said the new business should be able to open in about 90 days. And now the forecast from the National Weather Service. Some patchy dense fog around the region this morning. Otherwise, partly sunny today with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. High 84. Partly cloudy tonight, low 62. Sunny tomorrow, high 90. Partly sunny Thursday with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 90. Right now, 62 in downtown Binghamton at 7:35. I'm Bob Joseph, WNBF News. 7:37 on WNBF and WNBF.com. And we are pleased to have you with us. This is Bob Joseph in for Don Morgan, who is off this morning. Of course, we'll have First News Binghamton till 9, and then the talk show. WNBF proudly presents the talk show today from 10 to noon. So remember, it may not appear in your early editions of Radio Guide, but it will be on today, starting after the 10 o'clock news. Plenty to talk about today, and you'll hear it at 92.1 FM, 1290 AM. It's streaming at WNBF.com. Well, Amtrak has restored passenger train service north of Albany, with routes going to Schenectady and then Saratoga Springs. This is according to the Albany Times-Union. The service had been halted a month ago. At this point, routes farther north of Saratoga Springs are on hold due to track problems north of the Canadian border in Quebec. The route had been suspended during COVID. It was started up again in April, but halted on June 27th when Canadian National Railroad, which operates tracks north of the border, said it was worried that their tracks might buckle in the heat. The railroad had limited train travel to 10 miles an hour or slower when temperatures rose above 86. So, according to the Times-Union, reopening that line to Saratoga Springs is beneficial since a lot of people want to go to the Saratoga race course and things are now in full swing. So passengers now are able to take the train from New York City and other points in between, including Schenectady. So it's nice. It's nice to see that some parts of New York State have passenger rail service. It would be even nicer if we had passenger rail service out of Binghamton, but that's just not possible. Not possible in our lifetime. Remember back in the day when it was possible, when you could catch a train at the train station on Lewis Street. Those were the days, my friend. It's amazing. For all the progress, all the technological advances that have occurred in this country over the last half century, it's amazing how much has changed and not for the better. We have no passenger rail service. We have a newspaper printed in another state with very early press deadline because they have to truck it from New Jersey. What else? I mean, there's so much that's changed. If you told me what's going on now in 2023 concerning some things, if you mentioned that to me 40 or 50 years ago, I would have said, no. It sounds like we're going to be taking giant steps backwards. With all sorts of advanced technology, we should be able to do wonderful things by 2023. Yes, we can. We can spend time on TikTok, thanks to our friends in China. 7:41. You're listening to First News Binghamton. It's a Tuesday morning. Watch out. Bit of fog in the area. Might want to give yourself a little extra time because of limited visibility in a few places.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
7:43 at WNBF and WNBF.com. Still no indication of any progress toward averting a UPS strike. Seems that's the way things are headed. A week from today, those iconic brown trucks that rumble through your neighborhood at high rates of speed will be sidelined. Could happen. We don't know at this point. I believe talks may resume today. We'll see if they can reach an agreement to keep the workers on the job and keep the deliveries moving forward. Wildlife workers searching for a grizzly bear that killed a woman along a forest trail near Yellowstone National Park are setting bear traps for another day in hopes of catching the culprit. Officials say 48-year-old Amy Adamson from Derby, Kansas, was the one who was killed along the Montana-Idaho border. At this point, they still seem intent on trying to catch the grizzly bear responsible for her death. Since 2010, grizzlies in the Yellowstone region have killed at least 9 people, but attacks remain rare. 7:44 at WNBF. This is First News Binghamton. Coming up in 1 minute, sports. WNBF News Time, 7:45. And now, a look at sports. Here on News Radio 1290, Rumble Ponies will be back in action today. Actually, they should be playing in just over 4 hours. Rumble Ponies will have an early start. First pitch scheduled for noon as they start a 6-game series against the Fightin' Phils in Reading. WNBF coverage will start at 11:50 this morning with Jacob Wilkins. Rumble Ponies scheduled to return to Binghamton a week from today as they host New Hampshire. Looking at the schedule, it's hard to believe a week from today will be August 1st. The summer is flying by. Other baseball news tonight, the start of a 2-game Subway Series. Yankees will host the Mets in the Bronx. First pitch there, 7:05. Yankees and Mets were off yesterday. Limited play in the major leagues. One interleague game. Phillies lost to Baltimore 3-2. And in the National League, it was Pittsburgh over San Diego, 8-4. That is the latest in sports from News Radio, WNBF News Time, 7:47. A great name for a plane. Oh, wait, they already thought of that. Coming up on First News Binghamton, we'll have a look at some money news, let you know how things are shaping up with financial markets around the world. Also let you know about some business developments. And also, we plan to have a Tech Trends report from ABC. And today, Mike Dabosky is going to examine exactly what is going on with Twitter and what exactly Elon Musk seems to be doing with the once popular social media platform. So Mike Dabosky from ABC will examine those issues and find out what else might happen next with Twitter. WNBF News Time, 7:48.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
At 7:50, money news on First News Binghamton. Global stock markets and Wall Street futures are mixed after China's ruling Communist Party promised to shore up its sagging economy. Ahead of a Federal Reserve meeting, traders hope will announce this interest rate cycle's final increase. London and Shanghai markets advanced while Tokyo and Paris retreated. Oil prices edged lower. Chinese leaders promised measures to boost sluggish economic growth by supporting real estate sales and other struggling sectors, but gave no details. They did not mention possible stimulus spending. Traders expect the Fed to announce another increase in its benchmark lending rate to a 22-year high, but they hope this will be the final increase for the year after inflation that was near multi-decade highs declined. At the moment, Wall Street futures are higher. Dow futures up just a bit, up 4 points, and NASDAQ futures up 45. General Motors posted $2.5 billion in second quarter net income, a 52% increase over a year ago. The automaker said continued strong vehicle sales and pricing, as well as cost cuts, led to the better-than-expected quarter. The company today raised its full-year financial guidance with one qualification, that it can negotiate union labor contracts without a strike. Discounts and inventory remained flat as the company sold 19% more vehicles than a year ago in the United States. GM raised its full-year guidance, forecasting net income of $9.3 billion to $10.7 billion. As the deadline to reach a new contract nears, a potential UPS strike does feel closer than ever. The Teamsters, which represent 340,000 UPS workers, are calling for better pay, especially for part-time workers. Following a negotiation stalemate that started earlier this month and rallies held across the country, the union and UPS say they're planning to resume talks, but if an agreement isn't met before the current contract expires next Monday, the unionized workers have authorized a strike. Indonesian police are investigating the illegal trade in human organs involving police and immigration officers who were accused of helping traffickers send 122 Indonesians to a hospital in Cambodia to sell their kidneys. The authorities say that 12 people have been arrested, including a police officer and an immigration officer. The investigators said police will continue to crack down on human smuggling in Indonesia. 9 of the suspects were former organ trade victims who were accused of luring people from across Indonesia through social media into having their kidneys removed. The 10th suspect was accused of sending them to a hospital in Cambodia for kidney transplant surgery. WNBF News Time, 7:53. Coming up next, Tech Trends with ABC's Mike Dubosky.
News Radio 1290 WNBF.
Good morning. This is Bob Joseph on First News Binghamton. I'm in for Don Morgan, who is off today. What is Elon Musk up to anyway? Mike Dubosky explores that for ABC News.
From ABC News Tech Trends, Twitter is now simply X, and Elon Musk says he wants to create a super app out of it.
He had this idea that he could take Twitter and transform it into, I guess, a US equivalent of WeChat.
Tech journalist Chris Stokel-Walker says super apps like WeChat are popular in markets like China.
It is essentially a one-stop shop where you can interact with people through a messaging service like WhatsApp or iMessage. You can share life updates like you can on Instagram or Facebook. And you can also do other stuff like pay for services through an equivalent of kind of Venmo or PayPal, but it's all bundled up into one single app.
Super apps have struggled to take hold in the U.S. market. Plus, Stokel-Walker says Musk's rocky tenure as head of Twitter makes X, the super app, a tough sell.
Now, if Elon Musk came to you and said, give me your bank account details, would you really do that?
With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubosky, ABC News.
That's a good question. Would I give Elon Musk any personal information? No, I would not. But everybody can make his or her choice. Who knows what's going to happen? I can't predict the future. Coming up in about 3.5 minutes, ABC will have a national and world news update here on First News Binghamton. And next hour, we have more to report too, of course, with sports news, more money news. And yes, in case you didn't catch it already, Dr. Sanjay Gupta will look at the problems that are being caused by violence around the country, especially violence witnessed by young people. It's just a lot of violence, especially in some of the bigger cities, places like Chicago, with so much gun violence that young people are exposed to. So Dr. Sanjay Gupta will discuss that coming up in about 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes on A Better Life. And also next hour, if you're interested in some tech news, Kim Commando will talk about what is really going on at Netflix. She says a funny thing happened at Netflix. And she'll explain coming up next hour right here on First News Binghamton. Some important scheduling information today. If you're a WNBF fan, as many of you are, of course, First News Binghamton continues for another hour till 9 o'clock. Then, just a word to the wise, the talk show, which normally starts at 9 after the 9 o'clock news, today will start after the 10 o'clock news. Still plenty of opportunities for you to call in. So don't fret. Don't fret. Talk show will be on, but it will commence at 10:10, right after the local news. And later today on WNBF, baseball, of all things. Starting right before noon, the Rumble Ponies will have an early start today as they begin a 6-game series against the Fightin' Phils in Reading. So our coverage from Reading, Pennsylvania will start at 11:50 this morning with Jacob Wilkins. And the first pitch will be at noon, and after that you'll be able to hear all of your favorites, including Sean Hannity and Mark Levin, right here on WNBF.
This is News Radio 1290 AM, WNBF Binghamton. Now on 92.1 FM, W221 EJ Binghamton.